but she wanted to fly herself, saying, "Maybe someday I'll try it alone." Pilot a plane solo across the Atlantic, heading for Paris. She brought with her only a toothbrush, 1 container of soup, and 3 cans of tomato juice.
Amelia Earhart was a fearless pilot and global icon. But now, after 88 years, the truth about her disappearance is finally here, and it's terrifying. How did one of the most famous people vanish without a trace? Was she left hoping for help that never came? The answers are chilling. To know all about this, stay tuned till the end. For almost 90 years, the story of Amelia Earhart has haunted the world. She wasn't just any pilot, she was the first woman to try something so bold, so dangerous, that it left people in shock when she vanished without a trace. In 1937, Erhart and her navigator, Fred Noonan, set off on a daring mission to fly around the entire planet, following the equator. It was supposed to be a history-making flight, but instead, it turned into one of the most disturbing unsolved mysteries of all time. Somewhere over the vast Pacific Ocean, her voice went silent, and no one ever saw her or her plane again. For decades, people searched. Families hoped, theories spread like wildfire. Some thought she was captured, others believed she crashed and somehow survived on a deserted island, but now in 2025, after nearly 9 decades of looking, we may finally know the truth. And it's not what anyone wanted to hear. New technology and deep-sea research have brought forward chilling evidence. Sonar scans, aircraft parts on the ocean floor, and strange objects on a remote island have all come together to reveal a horrifying possibility. Experts now believe her plane went down because of a simple but fatal navigation mistake. Lost in the middle of the ocean with no way to call for help, it seems Erhart may have survived the crash, only to be trapped far from rescue. Alone, injured, and with no supplies, she may have held on as long as she could before the ocean or the elements claimed her. But why does her story still shake people so deeply? Because Amelia Earhart was different. She was bold when women were told to be quiet. In the 1920s and 30s, she flew planes when most women weren't even allowed to vote. They were so close. Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan had already flown more than 22,000 miles across the globe. On June 1st, 1937, they left Miami in a specially outfitted twin-engine Lockheed Electra. This wasn't just any plane, it was altered to hold extra fuel instead of passengers, giving them the best chance at surviving the long, difficult route. They had already failed once that year after crashing during takeoff in Hawaii. That crash nearly ended everything, but after repairing the plane, they started over. This time, flying east. They crossed continents, oceans, and time zones. South America, Africa, India, Southeast Asia, all behind them. Only one major leg remained, a stretch of ocean between New Guinea and a tiny island called Howland. That's where things took a dark turn. On July 2nd, they took off from Lae, New Guinea for a flight to Howland Island, a tiny scrap of land barely visible from the sky, sitting alone in the Pacific. It was 2,556 miles away. This part of the trip was terrifying. There were no landmarks, no cities, just miles and miles of water. One wrong turn, one mistake, and they'd be completely lost. The U.S. Coast Guard ship Itasca was sent to wait near the island to help guide them in with radio signals. But the guidance didn't work the way it should have. At 7:42 a.m., Amelia's voice crackled through the radio. "We must be on you, but cannot see you. Fuel is running low." Can you imagine hearing that message, knowing they were flying blind? It gets worse. Just over an hour later, her final words came through. "We're on the line 157 to 337. We're running north and south." And then, nothing. Radio silence. No more messages. No plane ever appeared. Panic spread fast. The U.S. military launched a massive search. Ships, planes, helicopters, everything they had was sent out. Over 250,000 square miles of ocean were searched. It cost millions, but despite all that effort, they found nothing. No wreckage, no signs of the plane, not even a clue. After 16 days, on July 18, 1937, the search was called off. The official explanation? They probably ran out of fuel, crashed into the sea, and sank. Just like that, 2 people were gone forever. No one could save them, and no one could explain exactly what happened out there in that endless, silent stretch of ocean. Even after all these years, the mystery of Amelia Earhart's disappearance still feels like something out of a nightmare. One of the most famous women in the world, just gone. No crash, no signal, no wreckage. Just silence. She was flying over the Pacific Ocean in 1937, almost done with her around-the-world flight, when suddenly, everything went dark. People hoped she'd landed somewhere safe, but nothing ever showed up. No plane, no oil on the water, no trace. It's like she and her navigator Fred Noonan just vanished into thin air. As time passed and the ocean stayed quiet, the fear only grew. How does someone so well-known just disappear without a single clue? In the 1980s, a group called Tigar, led by Richard Gillespie, began searching an island called Nikumaroro, about 400 miles from where she was supposed to land. They found strange things. A 1930s woman's shoe, a jar that might have held freckle cream like Amelia used, and aluminum scraps. Sounds suspicious, right? But none of it was proof. Nothing said for sure Amelia was here. Meanwhile, others believed she crashed straight into the sea near Howland Island and sank to the bottom, about 17,000 feet down. That's terrifyingly deep. In 2009, sonar scans swept the area. In 2012, Robert Ballard, the same man who found the Titanic, joined the search with underwater robots. Still nothing. No plane, no answers. Just more haunting questions. Some even thought she was captured by the Japanese, others claimed she faked her death. In 2017, a photo was set to show her alive in Japan, but it turned out the picture was taken 2 years before she even took off. Creepy, right? Then in 2010, a new idea surfaced. Liz Smith, a former NASA pilot, suggested Fred Noonan may have miscalculated their location because of the international dateline. Even a tiny mistake after flying for 17 hours could have made them miss Howland Island entirely. Just 60 to 100 miles off, and they're flying over open ocean with nowhere to land. But then, something big happened. In January 2024, a company called Deep Sea Vision, led by Tony Romeo, used a $9 million underwater drone named Hugin 6000. This wasn't some tiny machine. It could dive miles down, deeper than most submarines, into total darkness and crushing pressure. It scanned thousands of miles and picked up something shocking. A plane-shaped object lying quietly on the ocean floor around 100 miles west of Howland Island. Amelia's Lockheed Electro was 39 feet long, 55 feet wide, and 10 feet tall. It had a smooth metal body, 2 straight wings, 2 engines, and a double-fin tail. Tony Romeo had spent over $11 million of his own money chasing this ghost. When he saw the image, he said, "You'd be hard-pressed to convince me this isn't Amelia's plane." That's when things got even creepier. The sonar showed the aircraft hadn't crashed violently. It looked like it landed gently on the ocean, maybe even floated before sinking. What kind of terrifying silence must that have been, waiting out there on a dead ocean? More missions followed. They sent high-def cameras and robot arms to the wreck, and they found terrifying clues. A partial serial number matching Amelia's plane. Landing gears still attached, metal pieces from the 1930s. Meanwhile, researchers at Nikumaroro kept digging. They uncovered more aluminum, more cosmetic jars, and even a fingerprint that might match Amelia's. Experts now believe she may have tried a water landing as the fuel ran out. Her final radio signal placed her almost exactly where the plane was found. Maybe the plane floated for a bit? It's possible that Amelia and Fred held on to hope. For hours, maybe a day, before the ocean swallowed everything. Do you remember her? Let us know about your views in the comments section below, and for more such amazing videos, do subscribe to our channel.